in their 18th English domestic. Done no more, could they? They won their last 8 Premier League matches. They're unbeaten in their last 16 with 12 wins and 4 draws. The top of the table, City played 37, 95 points and a plus 69 goal average. Liverpool second, 94 points from 37 games and a plus 65 goal average. That stat would easily win pretty much any other Premier League season. It's far and away the best for a runner-up in fact, English top-flight football history, let alone the Premier League. City with 100 points last season, nearly getting that close again this year. But boy, has Liverpool closed the gap this season. Remember, 7 points clear at one point early into 2019. Their one defeat this season was against Manchester City. A couple of draws after that to West Ham and Leicester. City took the edge, and since then, it's been an incredible title race that has twisted and turned, and the title lead has changed a record 32. Yes, 32 times over the course of the campaign. Will there be a 33rd, I wonder today? If there is, boy, it would be dramatic, epic and historic. Realistically, Liverpool need to win and hope that City draw their game at Brighton. There's a very slim chance if City lose by at least 4 goals and Liverpool draw, they could take the title as well. That, though, I think is about a 15,000 to 1 shot. It's Brighton holding City and Liverpool taking care of business in this fervent atmosphere at a sun-soaked Anfield. That is the one realistic way that Liverpool could win their first ever Premier League title. Well, that's how we stand, and we'll keep you fully abreast, by the way, of any goals that fly in with John Anderson and David Connolly at the Amex, plus all the other goals as they go in around the other games on this final day of the Premier League season. All 10 matches all kicking off concurrently at 3 p.m. UK time. Promises to be a brilliant afternoon of football. And it's wonderful to have you here, wherever you're listening around the world, to Anfield for Liverpool versus Wolves. Remember, at TalkSport Live, we love to hear from you. Read us your tweets, and we'll read the very best of them out over the course of this game. It is wonderful to have your company. As Liverpool look for an early goal, Mohamed Salah trying to put Willy Bowley under pressure. Liverpool in their all-red, kicking from left to right from our vantage point here at Anfield in the first half. Salah just trying to ghost in behind the two Wolves centre-halves. Couldn't quite do it. But it's an early sign of positivity for Liverpool already. Liverpool making 2 changes, by the way, to the side that so brilliantly beat Barcelona to reach the Champions League final, coming from 3 down to win 4-3 in midweek. James Milner drops down to the bench. So does Xherdan Shaqiri. It's Alisson in goal. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andrew Robertson, Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk at the back. Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Gini Wijnaldum, who comes in to start after his brilliant display with 2 goals in that win against Barca. 2 goals from Divock Origi, who starts up front with Sadio Mane and Mo Salah. I mentioned him in commentary already. He's back from the concussion he picked up when he collided with the Newcastle goalkeeper Martin Dubravka a couple of weeks ago. Lovren, Milner, Gomez, Sturridge, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mignolet and Shaqiri, the Liverpool bench. We have played 1 minute and 15 seconds here on Premier League Live as Liverpool go for the title. That one little opening already was Salah trying to ghost in, but Bowley and Bennett just about did enough. Here come Liverpool again as Henderson tries to slide the ball through as far as Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Liverpool are quick to the ball at the moment. They're pressing big time. And they're very high energy, high octane start, as you'd expect from Jurgen Klopp. Raul Jimenez dispossessed. Robertson in field to Mane, to Wijnaldum. Thought about pulling the trigger, as he of course did so brilliantly twice in that game against Barcelona 4 days ago. Alexander-Arnold surveys his options and decides to go back to his centre half, the Cameroon international Joel Matip, and calmly plays the ball back to the Liverpool goalkeeper. Record price for a keeper the Reds played for Alisson, the Brazilian from Roma. An extremely fetching and very fluorescent pink outfit today. Liverpool now, having had that little opening earlier on, happy just to stroke the ball around. Here is Alexander-Arnold once more on the near stand side. Divock Origi calling for the ball. Bowley intercepts on this occasion and reads the danger well, the Frenchman. Jinks the ball over the top, looking for Johnny Otto, the Spanish wing-back. He's dispossessed by Fabinho, the other part of Liverpool's Brazilian contingent. Breaks up play nicely there, Fabinho. A round of applause for him from the Liverpool fans. And the ball is back with Alisson. Long ball forward, cut out by Bennett. We'll take you through the Wolves lineup, unchanged for a Premier League record this season, 15th time under Nuno Espirito Santo. Rui Patricio in goal, Matt Doherty and Johnny Otto with the wing-backs. It's Willy Bowley, Connor Cody, the skipper, and Ryan Bennett as a three-man central defence. Leander Dendoncker, Jean Moutinho, Ruben Neves in midfield, supporting Diogo Jota and Raul Jimenez, Caballero, Costa, Gibbs-White, Ruddy, Vinagre, Traoré and young Klinman. That is the bench. Here's Divock Origi, gets the first shot on target of the game. It's never, in all honesty, going to trouble Rui Patricio. It was from a fairly acute angle about 8 yards out. Ball over the top. Cody, I think it was, indeed he was, who was playing Origi onside. Cody kind of atoned for his error by pushing the Belgian forward just wide to the edge of the 6-yard box. And in the end, all Origi could do was fire at Patricio, who made a smart save. Nearly 4 minutes played on Premier League Live. Goalless is Alexander-Arnold. Brings the ball forward once more. Options again limited, but Liverpool just happy to stroke it around. They don't have to be too frenetic and go for broke too early. Yes, there's plenty of pressure on this game, but maybe just sticking to their normal game plan, their normal composure, their normal approach is what they need to do. Alexander-Arnold with a long lofted cross from this right wing-back berth, effectively right beneath our commentary vantage point. Ball fell to Wijnaldum. He was dispossessed with a good tackle from Raul Jimenez. But Wolves, just for a moment, struggling to get the ball clear. Good pressing from the likes of Sadio Mane. In the end, the ball is jinked over the top. And Virgil van Dijk, Premier League's PFA Player of the Year, the Players' Player of the Season, with a stout, strong header. Liverpool then trying to move the ball quickly, but there's an offside flag up on this near stand side. And Wolves have won themselves a free kick. Remember, keep your tweets coming in from around the world at TalkSport Live. How do you think both Man City and Liverpool are going to get on? Is it going to be Liverpool winning the Premier League title for the first ever time, or will City get the job done as they need to do against Brighton at the Amex? Origi putting Cody under more pressure. Patricio, the goalkeeper's first touch wasn't brilliant, but he played the ball from right foot to left foot and just about did enough under pressure from Salah to hack the ball to the halfway line. This is now better from Wolves, who've been a little bit out-muscled and outgunned in the game so far. Johnny Otto sliding it forward to João Moutinho. Moutinho thinks he was fouled, and in the end the decision does go Wolves' way. João Moutinho, 114 caps in his career for Portugal, 32 now. One of a very strong and very impressive Portuguese contingent under Nuno Espirito Santo in this Wolves team. Matip winning the ball back though for Liverpool on halfway, finds Origi. Lovely ball through to Mohamed Salah, who's on space at the edge of the penalty area. Here's Salah running up against Bowley left and right, about 15 yards out to the right of goal. Backheel to Henderson. Henderson's cross is too strong. It's over the advancing Origi and Mane. And in the end, Matt Doherty, the Ireland international right wing back for Wolves, is more than happy to pick up the loose ball just beyond the right edge of the penalty area and bang it forward to safety. 6.5 minutes played on Premier League Live. Liverpool 0, Wolves 0. And remember, Liverpool need to win and hope Man City don't. That's the most likely way, and then they would be, for the first ever time, Premier League champions. Sun continues to bear down. It's a glorious afternoon on Merseyside. Wolves, I should have added, by the way, in their traditional gold and black. Both teams in their home jerseys. As Van Dijk, acting as the auxiliary playmaker, finds Alexander-Arnold. Lofted cross from the young England right back, headed forward by Salah to Wijnaldum, who beats one player, beats a second. Gini Wijnaldum can't quite get the ball through to Divock Origi. Wijnaldum feels he was maybe just illegally nudged off the ball. Referee and his officials having none of it, and play goes on. Our ref today, I should have said, by the way, is Martin Atkinson. One goal so far. Eric Dyer has put Spurs ahead against Everton. Remember, all 10 matches taking place concurrently. 8 minutes played, by the way, at the Amex, and it's still Brighton 0, Manchester City 0. So that result will continue to give Liverpool plenty of hope. Were it to stay like that, I know there's an awful long way to go. Goal for Liverpool and they would be champions. Here's Alexander-Arnold getting there ahead of Johnny Otto, but not ahead of Willy Bowley. And Bowley, the former Auxerre and Porto defender, coming across with a very important interception after his teammate was just about beaten to the ball. Alexander-Arnold takes it quickly, not quite as quickly as that wonderful corner that led to Origi's winning goal against Barca, but quickly enough. Now, I've not seen a huge amount of Andy Robertson in the game so far. With an injury doubt, the Scotland captain and left back, after being on the receiving end of some rather nasty tricks, I think we can safely say, from Luis Suarez in that game against the Catalans. Here's Robertson coming forward from left back, really for the first time in the game. Wants the ball back from Origi, but Origi decides to go with a flat pass, switching the passage of play to the right, and it works well. It's controlled first time by the impressive Alexander-Arnold. To Salah, back to Alexander-Arnold on his weaker left foot, but he jinks it into Mane, who offloads, looking for Robertson, who'd come in field. He couldn't quite get there, and Mane just not quite controlling that as well as maybe he would have liked. And in the end, the Senegalese striker couldn't quite find his Scottish teammate, and the ball trickles out of play. It takes a deflection off a Wolves shirt, off Raul Jimenez though, so good news for Liverpool is at least they have the throw. It's going to be taken by Robertson, who's barking out some orders to his teammates. 9.5 almost played here on Premier League Live. It's Liverpool 0, Wolves 0. Still goalless as well at the Amex. Here is Mexican striker Jimenez. His ball cut out well by Fabinho to Origi. He beats one player, can't beat a second. Was Divock Origi fouled? The answer is yes, and cheers around Anfield as referee Atkinson gives that decision Liverpool's way, and it's a free kick to the Reds in a decent position. It's about 10 yards into Wolves territory, across on the far stand side, as we tick toward 10 minutes. And remember, keep your tweets coming in at TalkSport Live, how you think our game and the City game will play out, and therefore who will be champions. Not a room in the house, as you can imagine, and just seas of red around Anfield, apart from a small pocket of Wolves fans away to our left. Brilliant cauldron, brilliant atmosphere. As Alexander-Arnold, right-footed, goes with the in-swinging delivery. It's flicked on by Fabinho, looking for Salah. Van Dijk does well to win it in the air, but Bowley wins the secondary ball for Wolves. Was there a foul on Jimenez? There was. The Wolves have defended that pretty stoutly. The Wolves will have a free kick and a chance to clear their lines. Onye Ahabia saying he thinks Liverpool will win 3-1, but so will Man City, so they'll be champions. Benjamin Andoni thinks it'll be 2-2 in our game, Liverpool-Wolves, and that City will beat Brighton 3-0. Interesting. Let us know what you reckon. Good news, Odigi has given us his predictions, which we'll come to in just a second, because João Moutinho has unexpectedly won the ball off of Wijnaldum, and just for a second it looked as though things might open up for Wolves, but Doherty was sold a bit short. All he could do was play the ball back, and Liverpool fans don't like it that Wolves have been a bit defensive there, and having had the ball deep in Liverpool territory, they ended up playing it back to their own goalkeeper, Rui Patricio, but sometimes needs must, and all of a sudden Liverpool trying to make something happen with Mane, putting Bennett under all sorts of pressure, but Ryan Bennett, who's worked his way up through the lower leagues from Grimsby, Peterborough, Norwich, and up to Wolves and up to the Premier League, did well, put the ball out of play. Good News reckons that City will beat Brighton 4-0, and that will seal the title. We will wait and see. 11.5 played here on Premier League Live. Same at the Amex, where it's also still goalless, as the Reds, as they have in this game so far, are just kind of varying it between pockets of attack and pockets where they've been a little bit calmer and just a bit more steady, shall we say. Jordan Henderson, the skipper, on the ball, and again Jurgen Klopp's men are happy to stroke the ball around on halfway. Alexander-Arnold plays a 1-2 with Joel Matip. By the way, 2 quick goals for Newcastle, who are suddenly 2 up at Fulham. John Joe Shelby and Ayoze Perez with the goals for the Toon, finishing the season very strongly, as we know. Liverpool just about winning at St James's Park a couple of Monday nights ago. That nearly derailed Liverpool's title challenge before the final round of games. The only game Newcastle have lost of late was that epic 3-2 late winner for Liverpool in that one. Another of the many twists and turns of this brilliant, compelling title race. So elsewhere, Spurs 1, Everton 0, Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. All the other 8 games, including ours and at the MX, all goalless at the moment as it stands. Man City would beat Liverpool to the title by that slender point. Now Jordan Henderson has fouled Willy Bowley as Willy Bowley tried to pull the ball clear from the edge of his own penalty area. Frustration from Henderson, who, like Andy Robertson, was a minor fitness doubt for this game. Liverpool, by the way, with 75% possession to Wolves' 25% already. It's about what you do with it. And at the moment, Liverpool have forced one fairly straightforward save out of Rui Patricio. And that really has been about it. Ryan Bennett takes that free kick from deep inside Wolves territory, looking for Raul Jimenez, who just about wins the header in the air against Virgil van Dijk, but doesn't really win it with any major purpose or power, and it's calmly back through to Alisson, the Liverpool goalkeeper. Here's David Robertson. Andy Robertson, I should say. Andy Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold with 11 assists each this season. First time in Premier League history that 2 fullbacks from the same team have had a double-digit number of assists. Very impressive. Plenty of other records broken by Liverpool of late as well. Sadio Mane, 16 home Premier League goals is a league high. 18 headed goals for Liverpool is a league high. 22 goals from set pieces excluding penalties is a league high. So many league highs for Liverpool this season. Mo Salah is top of the Premier League's Golden Boot charts with 22 goals. Sadio Mane is joint second with 20. That's another thing that's up for grabs today, by the way. Sergio Aguero and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang also on 20. But approaching the 15-minute mark, Liverpool 0, Wolves 0, and it is still goalless between Brighton and Manchester City. Johnny Otto in field for Wolves to Bowley. Slides it through, looking for a man we've not really mentioned in commentary much so far, which is Diogo Jota. Bowley slips, and for a second there's a jinking of an opening maybe for the Reds as Divock Origi tried to surge forward, but Wolves recover quickly and there's now space for the team from the Black Country. Here is Johnny Otto behind Jimenez and not as far as Jota, who can't get there, and Wolves had a faint glimmer of a counter-attack there, but they did not play it particularly well. Liverpool come forward instead. Henderson over the top, looking for Origi, but again Wolves deal with it competently, and the ball's back to the goalkeeper, Rui Patricio. No further goals elsewhere, so it is still 0-0 at the Amex. They've played about 20 seconds more than we have. We're 15 minutes and 40, they're about 20 seconds beyond that. Both these critical games to decide the Premier League title remain 0-0. Hoped it would be nice and live here at Anfield and lively, and still a very relevant game for as long as possible, and that's certainly how it's playing out so far. Salah dispossessed though, and here is Ruben Neves sitting deep for Wolves today, wearing 8, another of the Portuguese contingent, formerly of Porto, only 22 years old, but an exciting player. Ball over the top, looking for Johnny Otto, who continued his run from left wing back, but it was slightly overhit, and as ever, Alisson reads the danger well, and the Liverpool goalkeeper scurries to the edge of his penalty area and gets there just ahead of his Spanish adversary. Liverpool fans, as you can hear, doing their best to raise their team, try and get that goal to put some pressure on City down in Brighton. Alexander-Arnold, nice 1-2 with Henderson, edge of the penalty area, deflected, cross, goal! Sadio Mane puts Liverpool ahead. It's taken 17 minutes. Senegalese firing home for his 23rd of the season, 21st in the Premier League, and what a time to get it. Liverpool strike first blood on the final day. Title race takes another dramatic twist. It's advantage Liverpool. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Super goal. Henderson to Alexander-Arnold. Mane, bang, back of the net, no problems whatsoever. Kind of could say it had been coming. Liverpool had just lacked that little bit of incision right at the death of their moves. The cross took a tiny deflection off Bolly, which I think just put off a couple of the Wolves defenders and helped steer that delivery into the path of Sadio Mane. And what a time to get it. Huge celebrations from Mane, by the way, I should say, in the far corner, and fans loving it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. And across at the Amex, it's still goalless. So as things stand, I'll whisper it quietly, Liverpool would be winning the Premier League. Wow. A few fans taking pictures, I can tell you already, around the stadium. They're kind of thinking, is there a bit of history in the brewing, in the making here? Could it be that time that Liverpool become 19-time champions of England and the first time in the Premier League era? Still an awful long way to go, but it is more than a possibility now, and the first 19 minutes couldn't really have played out any better. City still not winning at Brighton, that's still 0-0. And the Reds, a goal up at Anfield. On the far side, Andy Robertson does really well in a foot race with Raul Jimenez. Robertson not only got there to stop Jimenez's run, he also played it off the Mexican and behind for a goal kick. Great defending from Andy Robertson, who's been outstanding this season, as has Alexander-Arnold, who's 1-2 with Henderson. As we look on the big screen at a replay of the goal, was brilliant. Tiny deflection, ball behind Salah, behind Cody and behind Bennett. Now is Mane, who does not miss from there. So Liverpool looking to become the first ever Premier League team to overtake the leaders on the final day. It's the 8th Premier League season to go down to the final day. 1990, last time Liverpool won the old First Division, but never in the Premier League era. Here's Salah, who does brilliantly and weaves his way past two players. Mo Salah tries to get his shot in, it's blocked, but the ball's re-picked up by Robertson, who tries another little 1-2 with Salah. And credit Jimenez there, who was back and made an excellent defensive block before smacking the ball to halfway. So as it stands, Liverpool would finish the season with 97 points from 38 games, and Man City would finish it with 96. 20 minutes on the clock here on Premier League Live at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in, we love to hear from you. We'd love to think what your views are on who's going to win the title. Godwin is still rooting for Manchester City from Ibadan in Nigeria. Got Kingsley listening from Port Harcourt in Nigeria as well, thinking that City will win the league but Liverpool will win the Champions League. Alex Prince reckons that City will eventually come back and beat Brighton 2-1, even though the game is goalless at the moment. Here, Liverpool lead Wolves 1-0 thanks to Sadio Mane. Every time Wolves have the ball now, listen to the boos echoing around Anfield and the catcalls and the whistles. It's a daunting, fearsome atmosphere. Wolves have got a great record against the top six this season. They've picked up 16 points against the top six, blooded many a nose. In fact, they've won 5 games against the established Big Six, which is far and away the best record of the rest of the league. They're 7th and the best of the rest for a reason. As Wolves come forward, decent looking delivery, just got caught up on the breeze, and in the end Alisson did well to claim the cross from the far side. And danger averted for Liverpool. Long kick forward from Alisson, and Mo Salah nearly got onto it. A little bit of indecision in the Wolves defence. Salah was hurtling like an express train toward the edge of the penalty area, and in the end the ball just about got back to Rui Patricio. So Mo Salah with a Premier League Golden Boot race 22, Mane now second on 21. Here come Wolves trying to maybe get an equaliser in the game. Good run from João Moutinho. We know how graceful he is as he fights the ball to the Belgian Leander Dendoncker, who's been quiet in this game so far, but it's Dendoncker who scored the winning goal against Fulham last time out. Back to Moutinho once more as the central midfielder is trying to get more of a foothold and more of a grip on the game. Still goalless 22 minutes in at Brighton. 0-0 against Manchester City, which is why, as things stand, Liverpool would win the title by a single point. Here at Anfield, they lead Wolves 1-0 thanks to that nicely finished shot goal from Sadio Mane. Quincy Luan, what a beautiful day to watch football and listen to all the top teams playing at the same time. He's anticipating whoever, he says, are the EPL champions. Congratulations to them. The world is walking with the Reds right now, says Footy Jabs. They are not walking alone as Mane puts them ahead. Klopp's boys set to tame the Wolves? We will see. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in from around the world. We love to hear from you. Liverpool have the ball near their own corner flag. Calm, confident 1-2 between Alexander-Arnold and Gini Wijnaldum. And then Liverpool also have the presence of mind and the poise, I guess you would say, to move the ball despite it's being deep in their own half to the other side of the field to Andy Robertson. Zizi Kessington loving the drama from Nigeria and thinks there's going to be plenty more of it. I think you're absolutely spot on, Zizi, over the course of the next few minutes. Keep updating you elsewhere. It's still goalless, 23 minutes in between Brighton and Man City. Here we've played the same. Liverpool leading Wolves 1-0. Entire Premier League era. It's 1992. The Reds have never won it. 18 times they won the old First Division. Seen them win the Champions League since, of course, in 2005. Another chance to do that in a couple of weeks in Madrid. But this is one that has been a very notable omission from the Liverpool trophy cabinet. Could all of that be changing over the course of the next 70 minutes? I wonder. Again, Liverpool now with that goal advantage, just happy to dictate play and stroke the ball around. Alexander-Arnold finds Fabinho. Good run from the bald-headed number 3. His cross is blocked, but it rebounds as far as Alexander-Arnold. Finds Robertson. First touch not great. Second is a howitzer. And it's a brilliant save from Rui Patricio to deny Andy Robertson. Robertson, who weirdly hasn't scored this season despite his brilliance at left back. And the Scot let fly with an absolute pile driver. It's a fine save to his left from the Wolves goalkeeper. We stay at 1-0. Could have easily been 2. 24 played. Brighton 0, Man City 0. Liverpool, as things stand, would be crowned Premier League champions. Alexander-Arnold under a little bit of pressure from Jota. Back to his keeper. Jimenez not too far away from his keeper, I've got to say, but it was all fine. Played it to Van Dijk and now to Robertson, the man who went so close a moment ago. Andy Robertson with a long ball forward looking for Mo Salah, who tries to ghost in at the far post. We've seen that a couple of times in this game already. This atmosphere ranking up as well. Fans are going absolutely ballistic. Ball over the top. Mane, the man who scored the goal. This time he can't quite control it, but there's a few nerves from Wolves who lose the ball initially before a good sliding challenge from Ryan Bennett. Temporarily wins it back, but Origi wins it back for Liverpool on the edge of the area. Was Origi fouled? The call is no. I have to say that referee Atkinson had a good view. He was happy to say that Leandro Dendonca's interception was good enough. Belgian on Belgian. And he was quite happy that Origi was not illegally fouled by his international teammate. Don't forget, as has been the case over the course of the whole season, we can preview every weekend's Premier League action with the TalkSport Premier League Preview Show podcast, out every Thursday and well worth a listen. It's been a brilliant season of those. And a brilliant climax to the season on the field as well. 25 minutes and 50 seconds played here at an absolutely buzzing, rocking Anfield. And it's Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. We're just hearing that Brighton have scored against Manchester City as well. This is incredible. It is Brighton 1, Manchester City 0. But here Wolves are back on the attack with Johnny Otto. Great delivery. Robertson's brave header to get it clear from the edge of the 6-yard box. Fans are cheering because they've just heard about the goal at the Amex for Brighton. But Liverpool have got to be so careful. They've got to keep their own house in order because Johnny Otto, with his weaker right foot, cut inside, bent the ball across from the left-back berth. And Andy Robertson with a really powerful header. And it was a critical one. Listen to the cheers around Anfield for that Brighton goal. We're getting a feed of it here at Anfield. And it was a Glenn Murray header into the corner. Glenn Murray is the man who's put Man City a goal down. So all of a sudden, City need to score twice if this stays as it is. Wow. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Brighton 1, Manchester City 0. Remember, a 1-point advantage to City going into the day, but we're looking at a 3-point swing now and a potential Liverpool title by 2 points. But also now hearing that City have just equalised. Sergio Aguero has just made that game 1-1. So Aguero scores his 21st of the season to join Sadio Mane, one behind Mo Salah in the battle for the Golden Boot, but more crucially, that's back to 1-1. Oh, you can't make this up, can you? And City now need one more to go back ahead. So it's now back to a 2-point swing, and Liverpool being 1 goal ahead. Got a delay, by the way, for an injury here, nothing too major. So we'll continue just to reflect on how things stand. Just seeing a replay here at Anfield of that goal as Aguero guides it in past the goalkeeper. So they're still at 1-1. We're 1-0 to Liverpool, and this final day of the season is just absolutely incredible. Goals going in elsewhere, by the way. Crystal Palace lead Bournemouth by 1-0. Cardiff have got a goal up at Manchester United. West Ham are 1 up at Watford. We're back underway after that brief pause here, by the way. So Brighton 1, Man City 1. Goalless Burnley Arsenal. Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Newcastle still 2-0 up at Fulham. Goalless Leicester Chelsea. Here, as we know, Liverpool 1, Wolves 0, which would still give Liverpool the title unless City get another goal in Brighton. Man U 0, Cardiff 1. Goalless Southampton Huddersfield. Spurs still leading Everton 1-0. As you mentioned, the Hammers have just gone 1-0 up at FA Cup finalists Watford, who, to be fair, have other fish to fry with that cup final against Manchester City at Wembley next week. Ball over the top as Wolves try to attack again. Diogo Jota, the man trying to make a nuisance of himself. Only 22, so Matheus Neves, another Portuguese star of the future, also formerly of Porto, and another man who's done mightily well, I've got to say, in the promotion season and this in Wolves colours. Wolves set for the most Premier League points for a newly promoted team since Ipswich Town got a brilliant 66 back in the year 2001. Goal kick to Liverpool, which Alisson takes. Nearly half an hour played. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Still 1-1 after half an hour. Brighton City. City going really close to going ahead a moment ago. Bernardo Silva mightily close. I've got a feed of that game I'm trying to keep an eye on, as well as events right in front of me here at Anfield. Wow, absolutely loving every minute of this, and wherever you're listening around the world, it is brilliant to have your company. Can Liverpool ride this ship home? Take care of their end of business at least? You would suspect so. But Wolves have had a couple of moments of late. Liverpool have got to stay focused and be careful. Everything that Jurgen Klopp was saying pre-match. Yes, the plaudits and adulation and the brilliance of midweek was superb, and it's wonderful to have a Champions League final to think about against Spurs in Madrid in 2 or 3 weeks. But bread and butter now is to try and win a Premier League title, and if they don't do it, at least end on their own terms and win their last game, and lose because somebody else was better rather than because you didn't take care of your own affairs. At the moment, City are not taking care of their own affairs, and that stays at 1-1. Where we are, Liverpool lead Wolves, ticking to 31 minutes. Connor Cody forced to concede a throw, and Andy Robertson is going to take it from the sun-soaked far side. The Scot looking for Origi. Jean Moutinho back helping out his centre halves, gets it half clear at least. Jota, though, dispossessed with a good tackle from Jordan Henderson. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold, man whose delivery set up the goal for Sadio Mane, and this time he was trying to find Mo Salah. And all Wolves can do is put the ball out for another throw. Approaching 32 minutes. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Alexander-Arnold will take the throw. There's not too many options close to him. Mane makes himself available and does well. Sadio Mane up against Otto. Beats Otto, but he couldn't beat Moutinho, who did well. Liverpool, though, win it back again. Raul Jimenez tackled by Joel Matip, and edge of the D. The Reds endeavour to formulate another attack. Gini Wijnaldum to Robertson, out to Origi on the far side. Almost 32 played. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Still 1-1 Brighton and Manchester City. So Liverpool still in the driving seat for the title as things stand. No other goals elsewhere since we updated you on this dramatic final day of the season. And remember, at TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in wherever you're listening around the world. Andrew Williams listening to us, a picture of his car as he's driving along, listening, saying it's amazing to listen to. It certainly is, isn't it, this final day, my friend? Brian Bailey, loving City's equaliser in their game. Abdul's listening to us from Lagos City. City's a Man United fan, so hopes that Liverpool, rather than Man City, win on the final day. We'll wait and see. It's drama. It's almost unbearable, I've got to say. Liverpool fans a bit quieter now. Ever since City equalised, a bit more nerves, as Wijnaldum goes on a fine run on the far side. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty, but I think it was a fair enough block. Then Donker it was who came back and made that block. I think it was with his chest, and the ball goes out of play. Let's have another look. Well, actually, to be fair, maybe off his forearm, but it's one of those situations where it was impossible to try and make the block. It was actually Ryan Bennett. Right call, I think, not to give a penalty, but it is the first corner, funnily enough, of the game. And it is Liverpool's first corner, naturally enough. It's going to be swung in. Right-footed, dangerous in-swinger from Alexander-Arnold. It falls to Salah, who goes for the volley. Connected well, Mo Salah, but it was always rising. As the Egyptian goes for his 23rd Premier League goal of the season and his 27th in all competitions. Just couldn't quite keep it down. Crisp strike, but about 4 or 5 yards over Rui Patricio's bar. We stay at 1-0, and it is still 1-1. About 20 seconds ahead of us at the Amex. Liverpool still on target. It's about an hour to go if you include all the injury time at the end of the halves. And maybe, at long last, winning the Premier League title. Davidson listening from Lagos, saying he thinks it could be a carbon copy of the late Aguero winner 7 years ago. Wanting City to win the title, even though he is a Manchester United fan. He'd rather that than it go to Liverpool. There's one or two fans who maybe feel like that, and others who would just love the history of a club like Liverpool to finally do it, particularly with such an infectious manager and such a kind of unique group of players as this Liverpool squad have proved to be. Plenty of others who I think feel that they long last deserve the Premier League title. Don't forget, 95 points is the second most, apart from this season, in Premier League history for the final end of season tally. That was Chelsea when they won the league in 2005. Man City, of course, with their 100 points last season. So as things stand, we're looking at first and second this season having the second and third most points in Premier League history. It just shows, doesn't it, how incredible this title race has been, and how brilliant both of the protagonists are, and why neither really deserves to lose. Wolves, I should say, have a throw. They've got one or two long throw specialists in there as Bowley flicks it on, looking for Raul Jimenez. The combination of Wijnaldum and Fabinho, the two central midfielders, coming back to track Raul Jimenez, did enough to stop the Mexican getting another shot on target. He scored 17 goals this season, the former Benfica man. And Liverpool give the ball away there. Fabinho just caught napping. Alexander-Arnold is running back to try and get back into position, not expecting that to be the case. But Johnny Otto is on a charge, left-footed, puts in the cross. Otto is chested down by Dendoncker. Options either side for the Belgian. Floats in the cross, but there's no Wolves player attacking the edge of the 6-yard box. That, I think, will frustrate Nuno Espirito Santo. His team looking for a 4th straight top-flight win, something they've not mustered for since the early 1970s. Bit of a brilliant run, Wolves of late, but at the moment they find themselves down. Manchester City, I can see on my screen, back onto the attack, and not too far away from a second goal. But Riyad Mahrez, the player to be denied, and Brighton Man City stays at 1-1. And here, Liverpool still need Wolves 1-0. Oh dear, Matip slips. Here's Jimenez. Oh, and Jimenez's ball was awful. Joel Matip lost his footing. Otto charging into the area. It was just a misunderstanding from Wolves, because they had the opportunity to maybe prize Liverpool wide open. Final decision making not there from Wolves. Not have many chances in this game, the away side. And I can tell you that Manchester City have scored a second. It's just gone in at the Amex. It's Brighton 1, Manchester City 2. And City have come from a goal down to lead 2-1, and Aymeric Laporte, I think, is the man who scored it. Just looking at the replay on my screen here at Anfield. Brighton 1, Man City 2, and as things now stand, Liverpool would not win the Premier League title. For the last few minutes, with Brighton a goal up, and then even at 1-1 and even 0-0 before that, after Mane's strike for the Reds. It appeared that fate, destiny could have been in Liverpool's hands. Just having a look, and yeah, confirmation. Laporte, game with a header, guides it in on the 38-minute mark at the Amex. Brighton 1, Manchester City 2. And now City, with the projected table, go a point back ahead of Liverpool. It's City to finish with 98 points and Liverpool to finish with 97. Now what Liverpool need to do is not either know that, which would be handy for the players, or if they do find that news out, just keep playing and don't get too distracted by it. Fans clearly know it, because you can hear the Liverpool chants going around the stadium now. They're reacting by, rather than going deathly silent, trying to just raise their team to, again, as we talked about earlier in this first half, take care of their own business and at least end with another win. City, 38 games, 98 points would be the projection. 97 for Liverpool as Mo Salah charges forward again. Tried with the outside of the Egyptian's right foot to jink it through to Divock Origi. Origi just couldn't quite get his shot away, and the ball trickles out of play. Ibuka thinks that City will go on to win by 3-1 at Brighton, and that here in our game Liverpool will eventually win 2-0. Probably not bad predictions at all at TalkSport Live. The way things currently stand, as Andy Robertson and Matt Doherty both go for a couple of crunching challenges over on the far side. The ball ricochets high into the blue Merseyside skies and out of play for a throw. Eden Hazard, that's not Eden, tweeting in from La Paz in Ghana, saying that Man City have just been playing with Liverpool's emotions. Yeah, Eden, I know what you mean. It does kind of feel a little bit like that here. Ben reckons that Liverpool will win 2-0, and it won't be enough. And Chioma thinks Liverpool will win 3-0, and that the City game will stay as it is, but that will be enough as well for City to win the title. At TalkSport Live, keep your tweets coming in. Wolves playing a little bit of suicidal football on the edge of their own penalty area. It kind of works eventually, because the fortunate ricochet falls to Otto and then to Jimenez. Henderson, by the way, charging in with a tough tackle on Raul Jimenez. But Wolves a goal down, and mention, they've got their own pride to play for, their own momentum here. Guaranteed 7th in the table, hoping for Europa League football next season. That'll happen as long as Man City beat Watford in the cup final next weekend at Wembley, which you suspect they will, but you never know. I guess if City win the title and maybe over-celebrate, it might play to Watford's hands, who knows. Looking on my big screen here, City back on the attack through Raheem Sterling at the Amex, but no joy. There's still only one goal in that game. Brighton could sneak another, it will turn around again. This title race is not over, but Liverpool need a huge favour from Chris Hughton's Seagulls. They did them one by taking the lead. Perhaps almost did it too early, Brighton, with that Glenn Murray goal. Did it with still a good 70-odd minutes to play, and maybe that was the problem, because City's response was emphatic and brutal and very clinical. And that maybe is the hallmark of a potential deserved champion. And of course, maybe back-to-back Premier League champions as well. Elsewhere, update on some of the other scores. Still goalless Burnley Arsenal. Crystal Palace now lead Bournemouth 3-0. West Ham have gone 2-0 up at Watford. All the other scores were as we were. So, crucially, Brighton 1, Man City 2. Here, Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Still Fulham 0, Newcastle 2. Goalless Leicester, Chelsea. Man United 0, Cardiff 1. Still goalless Southampton, Huddersfield. Spurs still leading Everton 1-0. There's the other scores on this final day of the Premier League season. Just on my monitor, Man City on the attack again. Brighton keep them out. Here, Liverpool, after some calm stroking of the ball around their defenders, come forward. Henderson to Mo Salah, who thinks he was shoved in the back on the edge of the area by Willy Bowley. To be fair, Atkinson, the referee, had a good view. More than happy for play to go on. A few boos ring out from the Kop end, but Liverpool pick themselves up and probably deep down know that that wasn't a foul. As Robertson weaves the ball through, it's blocked by Bowley, who's had a busy few minutes. Now Wolverhampton Wanderers try to counter-attack. Here's Diogo Jota. Jota, though, dispossessed wonderfully by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Young defender, he's only 20, isn't he? He's done so well this season. Setting up the goal in this game for Sadio Mane, don't forget. 42 played, Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. As things stand, Liverpool would just miss out on the Premier League title after so much hope earlier in this half. You dare to dream, I guess. Certainly a defiant feel, as we predicted pre-match. Around Anfield. Quite right too. Van Dijk to Fabinho. What a title race it's been. Whistle up for offside, by the way. So Liverpool 8 straight wins, and in total 12 wins, 4 draws in their last 16. Man City have won their last 13 league games. Do go back to those couple of draws, late Jan, early Feb. As the ball's given away, and here come Wolves! Out of nowhere, Wolves hit the crossbar. Liverpool just took their eye off the ball for a second. They've been on a fairly sort of limp attack. Lost the ball on this near stand side. And in an instant, Wolves threaded the ball through to the far side of the field. Shot was fired in by all people from Matt Doherty. Doherty's effort rattling off the angle of post and bar and staying out. It was a beautiful right-footed strike beyond the reach of Alisson, which is no mean feat. Woodwork denies Wolves what would have been a brilliant equaliser. Doherty's actually got 8 goals this season. He's the club's 3rd highest scorer, which for a wing-back is decent effort for the man who's been at the club since 2010. 5 times capped by Ireland. Dendoncker from Jimenez's knockdown, looking for Diogo Jota, and Wolves have just upped their game a bit, and Liverpool look a little bit flat, I would say. The crowd, as you can hear, rising and trying to motivate the players as we tick toward half-time. Sure, news of those Man City goals has probably reached most now, possibly including the playing staff, we don't know. Wolves win their first corner of the game. 44 minutes and 20 seconds played here on Premier League Live. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Southampton, by the way, have just taken the lead against Huddersfield Town. I think it's Nathan Redmond. He's had a brilliant end to the season under Ralph Hasenhüttl. He's got that one. It's going to be João Moutinho's out-swinging corner. It's a good one, looking for Willy Bowley. Matip was up there and won the header and got it half clear. Trent Alexander-Arnold completes the process. And the young England defender happy to just smack the ball downfield and play it right back almost to the edge of the Wolves penalty area. Rui Patricio, the Wolves keeper, back out as far as Conor Cody. Liverpool trainee, played 1 first-team game for Liverpool before moving on to Huddersfield. So back on his old stomping ground. Had a good season, the number 16, for this Wolves team who, as we mentioned, have done brilliantly since their return to the top flight, with best points all of a newly promoted team for some 18 years. All looks like it's boiling over, by the way, at the Amex. There's a host of players from both teams surrounding the referee there. Temper's certainly running high. Here we've already seen 296 passes from Liverpool. We're not even at half-time, which just shows how much they've been stroking the ball around and just trying to find the right outlet and the right way to break down their pretty impressive opponents. Wolves back in possession again. Exchange of passes as far as Jota, but he couldn't control that one. And Liverpool get it back once more. Wolves looking for 4 top-flight wins in a row for the first time since 1972. Is it going to happen? You suspect not, as the half-time whistle blows and Liverpool lead thanks to Sadio Mane's strike. Liverpool are taking care of their own business. And over to you, Manchester City. Brighton, by the way, have a free kick. Not a bad effort at all. Very close. Ederson just about sticks it over the bar. Watching that on my monitor. But here at Anfield, players make their way off at half-time. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. The title race still in the balance on Premier League Live. We take you to John Anderson and the rest of the team at the Amex with David Connolly.
Manchester City are 45 minutes away from clinching the title. They went behind Glenn Murray's flicked header from a corner on 27 minutes. Within a minute, Sergio Aguero had pulled them level, and a header by Aymeric Laporte in this title-deciding Sunday has swung the pendulum in City's favour. Half-time, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Manchester City 2. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba leaves it, Rashford hits it, oh, it's a goal, it's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. Is the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Has a run of Sterling to find, and he does find him in the area. Raheem Sterling for a hat-trick here! And the hat-trick is gobbled up by Raheem Sterling. What a player this young man is.
Tries to play forward. Hayward puts it up in the air. Comes down. Chance for 3-2. It is 3-2. Perez scores again. Well, it's times to be a Geordie fan from 2-0 down to 3-2 up.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Really good delivery from Knockout. Here's the ball into the back of the net, and Antone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough.
And Wolves win possession through Jimenez. Jimenez is going to go himself. There's another chance here. Go for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Raul Jimenez, 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
This time touch trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way, and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal in the final minute of the 90.
He's usually unerring from the spot, Harry Kane. He's scored all his last 5 spot kicks. He faces Bernd Leno and scores again! And Tottenham Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the Ultimate Football Fan Tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
Welcome back on this day of deciders. It is Liverpool 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, and it is Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Manchester City 2.
Mella in a left-footed in-swinging corner from the former Roma man. Here it comes, left-footed to loop in one. Zuma doesn't get on it. It might break even. Dyer! It does. It's hammered into the bottom corner. And 2.5 minutes on the clock. It's the former Everton man, Eric Dyer, who hammers it into the back of the net for 1-0 Spurs.
Shelvey on the volley. Oh, that's a terrific goal. Jojo Shelvey took it down and swept it into the top corner. And it's swept home, and it is a second. It's Ezi Perez. He's on fire at the moment. And Newcastle United scored 2 in the space of a minute and a half.
Here's Noble up to the edge of the penalty area for West Ham. It's a mazy run, and it's a beautiful finish by Mark Noble. The captain scores his 50th career goal for West Ham United.
Alexander-Arnold, nice 1-2 with Henderson. Edge of the penalty area, deflected, cross, goal! Sadio Mane puts Liverpool ahead. And the cross at the Amex, it's still goalless. So as things stand, I'll whisper it quietly, Liverpool would be winning the Premier League. Wow.
Salah's got to be careful. And what's John Moss said here? He said penalty kick to Cardiff. Mendes Lang scores. David De Gea goes the wrong way.
There's a chance, and it's a goal. It's Michy Batshuayi who has fired Crystal Palace ahead here at Selhurst Park.
Here comes the corner. It's going to be an in-swinger, and they're both there, Duncan Duffy. It's a use one. It's in. Glenn Murray, I think, got the touch at the near post, and Brighton and Hove Albion have the lead against champions-elect Manchester City. Oh, what drama are we in for today, I wonder? Here's Aguero looking to get the level straight away, and he has! Sergio Aguero, the lead lasted less than a minute, and within a twinkling of an eye, Manchester City have gone from doom and gloom to parity.
Eases it out to right hand side to Wan-Bissaka, and it's in the back of the net, and it's a second goal for Crystal Palace.
Here's the corner, up they go, and in he goes. Aymeric Laporte with a towering header has put Manchester City in front.
Out it goes to Zaha, who's racing clear down the left hand side. Zaha into the penalty area, shoots, saved by the keeper, and deflected in for an own goal. It's a third for Crystal Palace.
Antonio on the edge of the area, drills it against the bar, and the rebound is headed in by Manuel Lanzini.
As the ball's given away, and here come Wolves. Out of nowhere, Wolves hit the crossbar. Liverpool just took their eye off the ball for a second. Things might open up here. Lerma goes for goal and scores. Is it over the line? The Bournemouth fans and the players think it is. Really good strike from Jefferson Lerma.
Lewis Dunk strikes in. It's a decent hit as well. And Ederson is forced to push it over the crossbar. But it's the last action of the first half. Michael Oliver blows his whistle. Title deciding Sunday has swung the pendulum in City's favour. Half time, Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Manchester City 2. So, Manchester City are on the threshold of becoming the first team to retain the Premier League title since 2009. It would be the sixth in their history. In the midst of all this talk of the Premier League, it's easy to forget perhaps that City did win the title in 1937 and 1968. This would be their fourth in what we would call the modern era, and goals by Aguero and Laporte after Glenn Murray had put Brighton in front gives them the upper edge. Liverpool winning at Wolves, but only by a single goal. I just wonder whether an equaliser for Wolves might be slightly more likely than an equaliser for Brighton.
Well, possibly. I mean, I've heard that actually Wolves have put up a good show there as well, so both sides here are doing their best, being professional as you'd expect, but it actually seemed to take the Brighton goal to sort of jolt City into life, really. They're, lethargic, I guess, moving the ball a little bit too slowly, lacked creativity and quality in the final third, and actually it wasn't until they went behind they suddenly thought, right, come on, Brighton actually posed a serious threat to us, and they responded magnificently, you have to say.
Guardiola is a methodical coach. He's a player who says he doesn't concentrate on headlines and stories. He concentrates on reality and what is confronting his team. I doubt he's particularly happy with their first half performance, and I would imagine he's in that dressing room now insisting, demanding and cajoling an improvement.
Yes, look, I've got to say they did respond well. I think the change, certainly not formation, but just how the personnel operate within that formation in terms of Mahrez going out to his favourite right side, Raheem Sterling coming to the left. They've looked better, more balanced, certainly more comfortable. And now when they get in around the final third, they're not just lumping balls in the box. They're trying to pick people out and be clever, and that's what you need to do. Get it into the likes of David Silva, like they did for the equaliser, into Aguero, and then obviously they will score goals. Was it anything we didn't expect? Well, we knew Brighton would make it hard for them, but I just think that probably Pep was a little bit disappointed in their quality, certainly when they got in and around the final third, in and around the box.
And with the likes of Aguero, I mean, and Bernardo Silva, who's been absolutely sensational, you do wonder a little, well though they've played, how long Brighton can continue to stem the tide.
Well, yes, I mean, that's true, although if you look back, I guess Chris Hughton might be saying to him, well look, we beat Man United here, we drew with Arsenal, and when we've lost to the bigger teams, your Spurs, your Liverpools and Chelsea, it's only by the odd goal. So they're always in games, and they're still in this game. If they win another couple of set pieces or some free kicks and have a bit of quality, you never know. It just seems like City, to be honest, are going to have 70-80% possession, and you fancy that if they are creative around the box, they'll probably get another chance. The likes of Aguero will probably take it. So it does look ominous, certainly for Liverpool fans, but it's brilliant for City fans.
Yeah, it certainly is. So the situation as it stands is that Manchester City, if no more goals are scored in the big two games today, will win the title by a point from Liverpool. They would have 98 points. It's actually fewer than they managed last season. Liverpool would have 97. They're still leading against Wolves, but they will have to either hang on to that lead or increase it, Liverpool. What they cannot affect is what happens in the second half here. They'll be absolutely praying for a Brighton goal. They have already scored one, Brighton, so don't rule it out. Manchester City face the biggest 45 minutes of their season, and we'll be bringing every minute of that second half to you, blow by blow. In just a moment, you're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League preview show with Talk Sport.
Pogba believes it. Rashford hits it. Oh, it's a goal. It's the first goal of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era.
Talk Sport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
Joining us on the preview show, the former Arsenal striker and most stylish man in football, Jeremy Aliadier. I didn't want him here, but he's turned up anyway. There's the former Chelsea man, Clive Walker.
Subscribe to the podcast today at talksport.com.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Has a run of Sterling to find, and he does find him in the area. Raheem Sterling for a hat-trick here! And the hat-trick is gobbled up by Raheem Sterling. What a player this young man is.
Tries to play it forward. Hayward puts it up in the air. Comes down. Charge for 3-2. It is 3-2. Perez scores again. Well, it's times to be a Geordie fan from 2-0 down to 3-2 up.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league.
Really good delivery from Knockout. Here's the ball into the back of the net. And Antone has scored for Brighton. There is the breakthrough.
And Wolves win possession from Jimenez. Jimenez is going to go himself. There's another chance here. Go for 2-0 possibly. Jimenez! Raul Jimenez, 2-0 to Wolves. And Cardiff are now all at sea.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
First time touch trying to find Lukaku. He's broken his way and Lukaku's bent it into the bottom corner for what may well prove to be the winning goal in the final minutes of the 90.
He's usually unerring from the spot, Harry Kane. He's scored all his last 5 spot kicks. He faces Bernd Leno and scores again! And Tottenham Hotspur have levelled with 16 minutes to go. Harry Kane has now got 9 goals in 9 games against the Gunners. It's Tottenham Hotspur 1, Arsenal 1.
Premier League Live, brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to talksport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click talksport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at talksport.com/predictor.
This is Premier League Live.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Brighton and Hove Albion against Manchester City from the Amex Stadium. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former Watford, West Ham and Feyenoord striker, David Connolly. This is Premier League Live. Well, after a first half in which their team came back from a goal down to lead, Manchester City's fans look fairly relaxed in the Sussex sunshine on this final Sunday of Premier League action, where the title still hangs in the balance. Liverpool leading by 1-0. They scored first. Sadio Mane early on. At that point, Manchester City started to fret a little bit, even more so when Glenn Murray glanced.
Absolutely, they were fretting. That is John Anderson alongside David Connolly. They're across at the Amex. Hello, welcome to TalkSport's coverage, though, of Liverpool against Wolves from Anfield. I'm your host, Russell Hargreaves, and you're listening to Premier League Live. As Ando was saying there, at one stage when Liverpool led 1-0 courtesy of Sadio Mane, they were ahead in the title race. Man City then down at Brighton through Glenn Murray, but back came City through Sergio Aguero and Aymeric Laporte to lead 2-1. Brighton need another equaliser. If that happens in the second half, it's just one goal. It's possible. And if Liverpool keep at least their 1-goal advantage here at Anfield, we could yet see the title race swing the other way. We're back underway. City not quite the same. They're going to be a few seconds behind us in the second half here on Premier League Live, but I'll keep you from the monitor I have here at Anfield with a feed of the other game up to date on all the key moments and any other goals that go in. Liverpool fans praying for a Brighton goal. Glenn Murray, as we say, has got one in this match already. Lewis Dunk close with a free kick just before half-time as well. Is there yet another sting in the tail? We're back underway in the second half. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Liverpool now attacking from right to left in the second half from our vantage point here on Premier League Live. In there all red. The Wolves in their home shirts as well. Left to right in the second half, gold with black shorts and black trim. Liverpool to the fore early in the second half as Jordan Henderson plays the ball to the far side to Trent Alexander-Arnold. Back to his skipper and the Players' Player of the Season, Virgil van Dijk, the man who was second in the Football Writers' Player of the Season awards as well. To City's Raheem Sterling. City already, I can see, on the attack early in the second half and trying to get that third. Until they get it though, it's all very much game on. Just 1 goal, the difference in each of the 2 critical games on this compelling final day of the Premier League season. Joel Matip forced to head it clear for Liverpool, finds Fabinho, nicely controlled by Divock Origi, who chests the ball down and turns to beat Ruben Neves, which is no easy feat, to Mo Salah. Salah upended on the far side by Willy Bowling. Slightly sloppy challenge from the Frenchman, stuck out a right boot and sent Mo Salah flying. Salah probably made the most of it, but there was definitely contact, and after a brief pause, referee Martin Atkinson gives the free kick. So 47 played on Premier League Live. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Gloriously blue skies above Anfield on this lovely Sunday afternoon UK time. Welcome to whoever you're listening around the world. It's great to have your company at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets, by the way, coming in as we prepare for the Liverpool free kick, looking for that second goal to try and put this game, I'd say beyond doubt, but close to it. Salah steps over it. Alexander-Arnold takes it into the side netting. Not a bad idea from Liverpool. Salah with the dummy. Alexander-Arnold, the well-struck effort, bent about 2 yards in the end, wide of the post, and it's behind for a goal kick. City on the attack at Brighton. Matt Ryan and co keeping them out just about. Here, Liverpool not too far away from their young England right back. City on the attack again at Brighton, but the Seagulls holding firm and keeping that game at 2-1. Can Wolves spoil the party here? Jota out to Johnny Otto on the far side, and capped 3 times by Spain. Back to Jota, who flicks it on to Dendoncker. Wolves not too far away from getting a shot away. It just wouldn't fall to Matt Doherty, wouldn't fall to his stronger right foot, fell to his left, and in the end the Irishman was dispossessed. Here come Liverpool counter-attacking, and there's a foul, pretty ugly foul from Ryan Bennett. He sends the goal scorer from the game, Sadio Mane, flying. Bennett tracking back as Liverpool counter-attacked with such pace and gusto. Slid in, brought his man down. It was fairly ugly from Ryan Bennett, I've got to say. 48 on the clock. Yellow card for Bennett, first of the game. Liverpool have a free kick, too far out to shoot or even to cross, the Reds decide. So Fabinho plays it right back to his centre halves. Van Dijk tries to give a bit of width to the attack. Infield to Robertson. He plays a 1-2 with Fabinho, and the ball is stroked around. Here come Liverpool again. Another foul. A little bit bitty from Wolves early in the second half, and the referee's just telling Wolves to calm it down. I think it was Jota this time. It was. He stuck out a boot and sent Joel Matip flying. No yellow card this time, but Martin Atkinson has a word with Diogo Jota and just tells him to calm it down a little bit. I'll take you back to the teams in a second. Early in the second half, another foul, this time on Fabinho by Jota, and I think Jota might now go in the book. That's pretty stupid from Diogo Jota. He's just been talked to, and moments later nibbles again and gets his yellow card. So Wolves have got Rui Patricio in goal. Matt Doherty and Johnny Otto are the wing backs. Willy Bowley, Conor Cody in the other centre-half is Ryan Bennett. It's Leandro Dondonka, João Moutinho and Ruben Neves in midfield. He now booked Jota and Raul Jimenez up front. If needed, Caballero, Costa, Gibbs-White, Ruddy, Vinagre, Traore and young Kilman. That is the bench for Wolves. Nearly 50 played. It's still Brighton 1, Man City 2. Here, Liverpool still lead 1-0. Hoping against hope for a Brighton goal. So maybe yet gives the Reds the title on this compelling final day. Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andrew Robertson, Joel Matip and Virgil van Dijk at the back, Fabinho, Jordan Henderson and Jorginho Wijnaldum in midfield, Divock Origi, Mo Salah and Sadio Mane up front, and then Lovren, Milner, Gomez, Sturridge, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mignolet and Shaqiri the bench. Here is Mo Salah, options limited under pressure from Bowling. Plays the ball back to Fabinho. Robertson tries to sneak it through to Wijnaldum, doesn't get there, but Robertson picks it back up. Henderson's pass though is poor, it's misplaced. Wolves temporarily win it back, but the brilliant Virgil van Dijk effortlessly glides gracefully across the block and does very well indeed. Matip's ball, controlled initially well by Mane, but then he slipped. Wolves win it back. For a second, Wolves nearly unlocked the key to the Liverpool defence. Matip with the interception, the ball ricochets off Fabinho, and here's Doherty, plays it back. Oh, João Moutinho was about to pull the trigger, put his right foot back to stick his boot through the ball, and there was a very timely Liverpool interception to deny their opponents. So a little bit nervous and a little bit disjointed at the moment. I do wonder whether the news clearly at half-time, if the players didn't know before that Man City had come from behind to lead, maybe just hit them a little bit. Still, as we keep saying, all Liverpool can do is stay on target for a 97-point haul and maybe win the game. Now appeals for a foul on Fabinho from the Wolves, long throw from Ryan Bennett. Officials spotted it. Fabinho was fouled by, I think it was Willy Bowling. And so Liverpool have a free kick and a chance to clear their lines. Chiloma thinks that Liverpool will win this game 2-0, but Man City will take the title with a 3-1 win at the Amex. Ben Davies has tweeted in as well at TalkSport Live. We'll read that in a second, because this time Liverpool play the ball over the top, looking for Mane. But decent defending from Doherty, who got there and scurried to the edge of the penalty area and hoofed the ball to safety. Ben says Liverpool fans will be phoning up, demanding a trophy for being Premier League champions for 15 minutes. And Footy Jabs wondering whether Klopp gave a pep, as in a Pep Guardiola talk, to his Liverpool players at half-time. Very clever. I'd love to have been in the bowels of the stadium beneath me here at Anfield to have seen and heard exactly what was said. I suspect we may never know, unless there is a almighty turnaround and a big story, and if there was, and if Liverpool do win, maybe we will find that out. But Brighton 1, Manchester City 2 remains the scoreline at the Amex. They've played about 52.5 minutes. We've played 53 here at Anfield, where Liverpool are still on track for a 9th straight win and to make it 17 unbeaten in the Premier League. They're still on track for a 38-game season where they've only lost once. They're still on track for 97 points, but it's looking increasingly likely that that won't be enough. Now Matip has had a little tussle on the far side with Jota. These two have been at each other for much of this second half, I've got to say, as we mentioned Jota going in the book earlier for a combination of fouls, one of which was on Joel Matip. Cody this time with a good ball over the top. It's well controlled by Wolves. Here's Doherty's cross. Oh, there's nobody there. Eventually a body does arrive. It's Johnny Otto, and it's a superb block from Liverpool. It was Alexander-Arnold, the youngster, who read that and made a wonderful, wonderful block. But Wolves are on the attack again. Jimenez is back heel, straight to Alisson. Liverpool have got to be careful. This is a good Wolves team. They're not 7th without good cause. It was a great ball over the top. Robertson, for once, was just out of position and saw the ball fly over his head. It was Doherty's run, his delivery. The onrushing Wolves strikers couldn't get there. Otto could. I'll tell you what, it was a brilliant block from young Trent Alexander-Arnold. It was really, really needed. 54.5 played. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Listening to Premier League Live at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. Wolves on the attack again. Jimenez and Doherty combining nicely. But on the far side, the ball through asks too much of Diogo Jota. And guess who's got it back again? the outstanding Alexander-Arnold. To Henderson, his skipper. He tries to thread a ball down the far touchline to Salah, but Conor Cody, back on his old stomping ground where he was a trainee, wins it back for Wolves. End-to-end stuff all of a sudden. Wolves, remember, looking for 4 straight Premier League wins. It's been a very tidy run. They've beaten Southampton. After losing to Southampton, they've beaten Arsenal, Watford, Fulham. Rebounding very well from the Saints loss, and just before that the Watford FA Cup semi-final defeat at Wembley that I commentated on for us. That hit them hard, and their response has been outstanding. Appeals for a foul on the far side. Salah thinks he had his ankle taken from under him. He's still gesticulating. The referee Atkinson happy. Jurgen Klopp, I can tell you, isn't. He's got his arms out raised, he's shrugging his shoulders, looking at the 4th official, asking why he didn't get a free kick. Wolves try to capitalise as Jimenez brings the ball down the far touchline, and Virgil van Dijk just stands brilliantly tall. Jimenez tries to play the ball off and fails to do so, ends up, I think, kicking himself, and Jimenez is down, writhing around in pain. Liverpool fans far from impressed, because all Van Dijk really did was stand his ground. Just looking at the replay on the big screen, yeah, just stood his ground. Jimenez fell, couldn't get his cross in, and then Jimenez rolls into Van Dijk and then starts holding his kind of lower shin, upper ankle area. It was very, very, very little in that, and that's why the Wolves player, I think he's pushing his luck, and why the Liverpool fans continue to boo. 83% possession for Man City in the second half of their game so far. Still Brighton 1, Manchester City 2. So still Liverpool fans nervously with their smartphones, with their radios, with whatever way they can stay in touch with events down at the Amex, hoping against hope for a Brighton goal that would put the title race back into the Reds' hands. Still Man City on target to take the title on this final day with 98 points. We've played 57 minutes on Premier League Live. Keep your tweets coming in from around the world. I'll read out the latest volley of those in a second. As this time it's Wolves to take the sting out of the game. Opportunity for Man City, I can see on my monitor that again Brighton keep out. It's dramatic there, and it's nerve jangling, so tense, and the drama is epic here as well. Here's Origi for Liverpool. Liverpool have had scant attacks in this second half, but Origi does beautifully. His ball to Robertson wasn't the best, but Robertson does well to beat his man, puts in the cross, Andy Robertson, and it's headed clear by Ryan Bennett. Robertson up against Doherty, did well initially, the Scot, and then his secondary ball wasn't the best. Fabinho goes clattering into Raul Jimenez, sends him flying in the middle of the centre circle right in front of the ref. Is Fabinho going to go in the book? Whoa, there's a long chat from the ref. My gut reaction is he might get away with this. Kind of semi-slipped Fabinho, maybe that's what saved him, but he definitely brought down his man, and in the end it is a relatively jovial chat between Fabinho and the referee, Martin Atkinson, and he does not go into the book. 58 on the clock. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0, still Brighton 1, Man City 2. So as things stand, it is Manchester City's title. Arsenal have got a goal up at Burnley early in the second half. That was one of a couple of games that was still 0-0 on this final day of the campaign. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has got that one, so he's now on to 21 for the season as well. So the golden boot is Salah 22, Mane after his goal today 21, Aguero after his goal today 21, and Aubameyang after his goal today 21. Very, very tight indeed. Jamie Vardy 5th with 18, and it is still goalless between Leicester and Chelsea, so that one maybe not changing. Ball trickles out of play for a throw just beneath us, which Liverpool win courtesy of Andy Robertson. Now Crystal Palace 3, Bournemouth 2. The Cherries continuing to fight back in that game. Cardiff City have doubled their lead at Man United, not going down without a fight, without some pride. Cardiff, of course, commentated on their relegation last weekend, but a nice way to finish it potentially. They haven't won at Old Trafford since the 1950s. Here come Wolves looking for their equaliser. Jimenez decides to shoot. Wrong decision from the Mexican. He had Doherty on the overlap, and Matt Doherty's furious. Waves his fists into the air, arms outstretched. He desperately wanted this ball on the overlap, didn't get it. Jimenez shot, and it was a shocker. Deep into the goal, behind keeper Allison. Looking at a Liverpool substitution in a moment. James Milner, a veteran midfielder come defender. He's the man who's going to be coming onto the field in a few moments' time. It's now Watford 1, West Ham 2. The Hornets have pulled one back. Huddersfield have equalised at Southampton. Another team going down, not without some pride. Still Newcastle 2-0 up at Fulham, who are going down with a bit of a whimper today. And obviously the two key games. It remains Brighton 1, Manchester City 2. As we approach the hour mark, still a Brighton goal would turn that one all around. It's City back on the attack in that game at the moment. Here at Anfield, Liverpool 1, Wolves 0, and we have played exactly an hour. And don't forget as well, the Premier League Preview Show podcast every Thursday is the best way to look ahead to any Premier League weekend. They've been great over the season. I'm sure they'll be back with us next season as well when we get back underway on August the 10th after the summer break. Fabinho sold slightly short by his goalkeeper Alisson there, who bowled the ball out to the Brazilian with two Wolves players on him. Did alright to hold it up and get it back to his compatriot. Now Salah also holds the ball up well. Lovely ball from Alexander-Arnold. He's having a wonderful game. Finds Henderson. Early cross from Henderson looking for Sadio Mane. Mane was always going to struggle to get there under pressure from Ryan Bennett. And in the end, Rui Patricio. It's a nice calm clasp of the ball. And we stay at Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Liverpool's 8 straight wins heading into this game. Newcastle 3-2 last time out. Before that, 5-0 against Huddersfield. Before that, beat Cardiff, Chelsea, Southampton, Spurs, Fulham, Burnley. It's been brilliant, but it might not quite be enough. That key loss to City on the 3rd of January, 2-1. Night fixture is a Thursday night if memory serves. Liverpool 7 points clear at that stage. That defeat, and then draws 1-1 against West Ham away on the 4th of Feb, and just before that 1-1 against Leicester on the 30th of Jan. That was the point where City got back ahead, and ever since then you feel that City just had the narrowest advantage. The two flip-flopping with whoever played first over the course of a weekend. Wolves would love to get an equaliser here. Here's Matt Doherty in space. Good delivery just above Jimenez. Jota can't get there. Chested down by Otto, who thinks about getting a shot away. Was there a foul from Salah? The answer is no. Mo Salah, not always known for his defensive work, did very well there to intercept. Ball over the top looking for Mane. It's end-to-end stuff. Sadio Mane, one behind in the golden boot charts. Plays it across to Salah, who can't quite get there. To Origi! Oh, he's missed it! What a chance for Divock Origi to make it 2-0. And he slipped as he tried to put the shot away. Great work from Sadio Mane. Salah with a kind of inadvertent dummy, and the third member of the triumvirate up front was Origi, who twisted. He had the goal at his mercy. He's claiming a corner, and you know what, he might be right, because the ball might just have flicked off the onrushing defender, which was Conor Cody, but Origi fails to take an excellent chance. I think he might be the man who's about to be sacrificed for James Milner as well. He is. Off goes Divock Origi, and on will come James Milner in just a second. So Liverpool, I guess you could say, tightening things up. This is interesting from Jurgen Klopp. Often, with a 1-goal lead, you've seen him just continue to attack, and that be the best form of defence, by taking pressure to the opponents and keeping them pushed in their own half, or at least trying to hit them with pace on the counter-attack. Well, I can tell you Manchester City have just scored their third, and that might well be it. 63 played, it's Brighton 1, Manchester City 3, and the scenes on my monitor of mass celebrations. We'll come back to those in a second, as Liverpool try to attack again through the combination of Salah and Mane. Not to be. City 3-1 up, and Riyad Mahrez, who's had a fairly underwhelming first season at Manchester City after engineering that move from Leicester, particularly in the second half of the season. But it's Mahrez who has scored the goal that I think probably will confirm the title for Manchester City. Looking at the replay on the big screen, you know what, it's a belting goal. Lovely finish past Matty Ryan and into the top corner. Really good goal. And that, I can tell you, is the kind of goal that probably deserves to crown the Premier League title. So City 3-1 up at Brighton, but listen to this response from Liverpool. Listen to the response of the Anfield crowd. They are so proud, they're so defiant after this remarkable season. I think they know deep down now that the title has slipped away. The odds of Brighton getting 2 goals at this point increasingly minimal, but Liverpool still leading here, still on course to break a hatful of records as this miraculous season continues. Down but so proud. Well, Jimenez snatching at a half chance. Again, it was Doherty on the overlap. Did well. Doherty as far as Jimenez. Just wide. Newcastle has scored a third at Fulham, by the way. All the other scores were as we last updated you. So as things stand, Man City 98 points from 38 games with a plus 71 goal difference. Liverpool 97 points from 38 games with a plus 66 goal difference. Remember, 100 points for City last season. The best anyone else has ever mustered in Premier League history is 95 from Chelsea under Jose Mourinho's first ever season at the Bridge in 2004-05. So Liverpool, with the third highest ever Premier League points haul as things stand, behind City's 98 of this year and their 100 of last year, would not win the title, which is really harsh. But I suppose you just have to continue to doff your cap to the team from the Etihad Stadium and to Pep Guardiola's men for what they continue to achieve. They, of course, could yet get a domestic treble. They've won the Carabao Cup. They look set to win the Premier League in the next 20-odd minutes, and strong favourites to win the FA Cup against Watford next weekend at Wembley. As we well know, Liverpool still have the drama of a Champions League final to look forward to in a couple of weeks. And so take on Spurs at the Wanda Metropolitana, Atletico Madrid's beautiful new stadium. Fans still so loud and proud and defiant is the word. They know they could have done so little more than what they have done in this wonderful Premier League season. Straight wins keep continuing, and as I keep saying, that one loss and those two draws just after it was the point where it ebbed away a tiny bit. But who would have thought that Man City would have finished the season with, as it looks like, 14 straight Premier League wins? That is just superhuman form. Wolves still trying to get the equaliser, ball over the top, and Alisson, slight bit of miscommunication with Virgil van Dijk, came out. Van Dijk paused to let him come out, and Jimenez nearly snuck in round the back. As it was, they just about dealt with it, and the ball was fired to safety. Another goal for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Arsenal. So that's 22 now for Aubameyang, who goes level with Mo Salah in the fight for the Golden Boot, and they're now one ahead of Sadio Mane. Two of the players involved here, don't forget, and one ahead of Sergio Aguero, pivotal of course in the Manchester City game. He scored already earlier. Another cross from Doherty, headed clear by Matip. Gini Wijnaldum miscontrols it at the first point of call, but then guess who? Trent Alexander-Arnold tidies it up beautifully. The long ball forward, flicked on by Salah to Mane, back to Salah. Cody's across on his old stomping ground and intercepts. Back to his keeper, Rui Patricio. Nearly 68 played. Liverpool 1, Wolves 0. Wolves still trying to upset the party as they look for a potential equaliser. Ball's come through to Diogo Jota, one-on-one. Super save in the end from Alisson. Liverpool's defenders just backed off for a second. There was a tiny gap, the ball was slid through to Jota, and as he tried to pull the trigger for an 11th of the season, Alisson came out, narrowed down the angle and made a very, very important save. As we stay at 1-0, Jimenez just ran across the Liverpool defence, kind of semi-took Van Dijk with him and then dummied the ball under his foot. It was really clever actually from Jimenez, and that is what created the space for Jota to get his shot away. Good save from Alisson. Alisson and Van Dijk as two extremely expensive additions in recent times, but two that have made a real difference in terms of Liverpool. It's probably the reason that they are up there in this year's title battle. They've not actually scored as many goals as last season, but they're so much tighter at the back. And that, I think, is a more important thing of the two, rather than having to outscore opponents in high-scoring fixtures a lot of the time. So many 1-0s and 2-0s and so on in this season, and it's done the job just fine, but not quite well enough to win the title maybe. Burnley have got one back against Arsenal, so it's Burnley 1, Arsenal 2. Palace have got their fourth, and nearly Bournemouth 4-2. Still, Fulham 0, Newcastle 3. Leicester 0, Chelsea 0, Liverpool 1, Wolves 0 in our game here at Anfield, with Brighton 1-3 down to Man City in the game with John Anderson and David Connolly that could crucially give City the title. Elsewhere, Cardiff still 2 up at Man United. Blimey. Still 1-1 Southampton, Huddersfield. Still Spurs 1, Everton 0. And still Watford 1, West Ham 2 on this final day of the Premier League season. That for Man United, their horror show of a season just continues, doesn't it? Crikey. Things have looked so much better for a while under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the wheels have dramatically come back off again. 53,331, by the way, the confirmed attendance being passed around the media box here at Anfield. Very good. So many red shirts in the sunshine, who for about 15-20 minutes in the first half dared to hope, dared to believe, with City drawing and then briefly a goal down, then drawing again against Brighton. But even though Liverpool got that relatively early strike from Sadio Mane, the way that the afternoon has then panned out from there means that Liverpool looks set to miss out. Jurgen Klopp is a little bit downcast at the moment. The energy we saw earlier has kind of sapped away a bit, looking at his feet on the edge of the technical area. Liverpool will of course come again and re-energise and re-solidify, ready for that Champions League final. That will be an absolute belter against Spurs. Second half, by the way, Wolves have had 4 chances to Liverpool's 2, so we've seen the visitors really step it up and try and maybe take advantage of the fact that Liverpool have just seen their hopes and aspirations and their real target for this game drift away. The only shot on target in this half has been Wolves as well, which was that save from Jota by Alisson. Far side, Johnny Otto running against Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold pushing him back. Otto in field to that man Diogo Jota, who's becoming increasingly influential. Left-footed cross from Jota, looking for Jimenez. Good interception from Matip. Alexander-Arnold with his weaker left foot gets it half clear. As far as Mane in a little one-on-one situation with Ruben Neves. Neves does well, but then the ball's dispossessed as Liverpool go for it again. Good tackle from Henderson, who almost had to back out of it. And there's an offside. I think the ball ricocheted off Salah after Henderson's tackle. And Mo Salah at that point was in an offside position. Elsewhere, by the way, Spurs-Everton is now 1-1, so the Toffees have equalised in that. There was an extremely slim chance that Arsenal could sneak into the top 4 if Spurs got it horribly wrong in that game, and if Arsenal won big. It's not going to happen, but that's how we stand. And there's, I think, a 4th goal for Manchester City. This really is confirmed now, isn't it? It's been smacked in by Ilkay Gundogan. Ilkay Gundogan's 4th for City. All but makes it confirmed, doesn't it? Well done to City. Groans around Anfield here. 4-1 in our featured game. And I think everybody knows that that is it. And Liverpool's valiant, brilliant title challenge dies pretty much at this minute with 18 minutes to go at Anfield. As we were describing that, decent header from Jota, which was saved by Alisson. Jota probably should have done better from about 10 yards out, a couple of yards either side, but it could have led to maybe the equaliser. Alisson making the save. That's twice now he's denied the young Portuguese. Liverpool perhaps rallied back into action on the back of that. Here's Mane looking for his second. Finds Salah. Salah's shot is blocked by Cody. As far as Otto, ball trapped under the feet of Ruben Neves, who loses out to Salah once more. Clever back heel to Wijnaldum, now to Henderson. It's all a bit static from Liverpool. They're lacking a bit of forward thrust and a bit of momentum, but they put the cross in from the far side. Mane, was he fouled? The referee says no. Here's Robertson, thinks about the cross, then thinks about the shot, goes for the cross again. It's a clever delivery to Wijnaldum, and Wijnaldum with just too acute an angle to really engineer a shot on target. Clever play from Robertson, who dummied to cross, then to shoot, then crossed. And Wijnaldum arrived at the far post. He was almost on the goal line by the time he made contact. And the Dutchman who scored those 2 critical goals, as did Divock Origi in the win against Barcelona in midweek, couldn't quite get his shot on target. Just looking at some of the Liverpool fans around me, they are well aware that it's Brighton 1, Man City 4 now. And they know that it's all over, and it has now gone a bit hushed, I have to say. I'm sure we'll have some more defiant chants in a moment. Alexander-Arnold to Wijnaldum. Field to Alexander-Arnold once more. His through ball is deflected. It's kind of semi-blocked by João Moutinho. The veteran player knows exactly where to put it about and where to be on the field. And got it spot on there. 74 played. Keep your tweets coming in from around the world. It's great to have your company on Premier League Live. A season where the title is set to be going to Manchester City. Shafir Mohammed saying, wow, what great work from the City boss Pep Guardiola. So sorry for Liverpool, but congratulations to the new champions. That's from Lagos in Nigeria. We echo those sentiments as Wolves look for their equaliser again. Alisson comes out and gets there just ahead of the on-rushing strike force of Jota and Jimenez. Kingsley says, I told you guys that City will get the Premier League Cup. Liverpool, he still insists we will get the Champions League from Port Harcourt in Nigeria. Godwin saying that Man City should sell half their players, including Pogba. Yeah, fair enough, on the back of losing again at the moment, 2-0. Keep your tweets coming in on this game, the Liverpool match and their season as a whole, and whether you think they've still got the glory of the Champions League to come. Ball over the top, flicked on by Matt Doherty once more, who's been very industrious, now just beneath our commentary vantage point on Premier League Live as we tick into the final 15 minutes of this season. Liverpool 1-0 up. Kind of feels now like there isn't that much to play for in this game. Yes, there's momentum ahead of the Champions League final, but that's a good couple of weeks away. Hoping to have, by the way, Roberto Firmino back for that, maybe Naby Keita as well. Interesting squad and selection decisions for Jurgen Klopp for that game. Remember, Spurs, their opponents in that game in Madrid, still not winning their match, interestingly, against Everton, levelled at 1-1. So now Crystal Palace 4, Bournemouth 3. Josh King has pulled another one back in an epic game in South London for the Cherries. It's all happening, isn't it, on this final day of the season? It looks as if it will be Chelsea and Spurs as top 4, City as champions and Liverpool second. Wolves we knew would be 7th anyway, even if they lose this game, because they had a 4-point cushion over Leicester. That cushion will be cut to 3 as things stand, but not enough. And as we already knew, Fulham, Huddersfield, Cardiff down, but Cardiff in particular going down in some style, leading Man United at Old Trafford 2-0. Huddersfield still on track to get a point at Southampton, which is a decent effort as well for Jan Sievert, for whom points have been almost catastrophically few and far between. It's Fulham the ones who've just lost a bit of momentum of late. 4 straight wins for Scott Parker, I think, wasn't it, or 3, and now they're about to lose 2 in a row, losing 2 Wolves last week, currently 3-0 down to Newcastle. So Brighton 1, Manchester City 4 as the defending champions and champions-elect continue to make hay. John Anderson and David Connolly at the Amex were there later. Here, it feels a long time ago now, doesn't it? That Sadio Mane goal to put the Reds ahead. Really does. Liverpool leading 1-0. Liverpool fans, I think, have now digested that news. They've just taken it. I think they've now mentally adjusted to the fact they're not going to win the title, and the chants come back out, the praising and the singing in honour of what's been a sensational campaign. It's going to be the 3rd best in Premier League history, and it's by far and away in the whole of English top flight history the most points for a team to come second. That's in the whole First Division and Premier League era. Destroys that record, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Liverpool wafted a hopeful ball from distance that Rui Patricio deals with easily in the Wolves goal, bowls it out. Dendoncker just miscontrols it. Fairly quiet in this game. Leander Dendoncker, I suppose, did his work by scoring the winner last goal against Fulham last week. He's on loan from Anderlecht, by the way. I'm not entirely sure if he'll be back next season or not. That'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Wolves have now formally bought their other loanees, who are good players who they wanted to keep. That's Johnny Otto and Raul Jimenez. Will they do the same with Dendoncker or not? I think the jury is a little bit more out. We will wait and see. Here is Johnny Otto, dispossessed by the brilliant Alexander Arnold, who I think would be my man of the match. 1-2 with Salah to Milner, the sub, who's not seen much of the ball so far. Does he win a corner, James Milner? He does. Clever football by the veteran. There's exactly what to do in that situation. Just delayed his ball for a second, forced Conor Coady to come out, and then pretty much on the dead ball line played the ball off the wall, skipper Coady, and behind for a Liverpool corner. The fans rise to that. Not seen too much of a Liverpool attack. Scotty Hansen saying that he knew this typical May hot day would come for the final day of the season. Spot on. Marco Lani saying game over, Liverpool try again, in a kind of old-fashioned computer game graphic that he's tweeted in. And Jermaine Olusu, boy, that escalated quickly, and Jermaine, it did at TalkSport Live. Keep your tweets coming in. It has escalated quickly, hasn't it? From Liverpool looking about a quarter of an hour like they were going to win the title, maybe, with them winning, and Man City down at Brighton but then 4 goals from City. And it's a very different story. Adama Traore, interestingly, is coming on for Matt Doherty for Wolves for the final few minutes. That's done before Liverpool's second corner of the game, which Alexander-Arnold takes, looking for Van Dijk. Headed clear, a combination of 2 Wolves defenders. Liverpool, I have to say, didn't attack that with particularly major gusto. I think they were quite happy to get up there and get the ball into the opposition half and then just revert to type and try and run down the clock a bit further. A more defensive-minded player, don't forget Milner on for Origi earlier, after Origi's miss that could have made it 2-0. Here's Salah, the ball ricochets to the Egyptian, gets his shot in. Decent block in the end from Cody. Remember, that golden boot's still up for grabs. That's one very much live story for the final few minutes of our commentary of this last game of the season. Robertson to Fabinho, looking for Salah once more. Cody's interception again. He's had a good second half, but his through ball to Jota is cut out by Fabinho. Delivery to Salah. Salah misses it, but Mane doesn't, and Sadio Mane fires his second of the game, and he's up to 22 for the season, and he's now level with Mo for the golden boot. 2 goals from Mane. It's not going to be in a total winning cause, but the Senegalese has been brilliant today. He snaffles another, and Liverpool, they're loud and proud, even if they're going to finish second. It's Liverpool 2, Wolves 0. I'm sure I've got my maths right. So Salah was on 20, he's now on 22. Salah started the day on 22 and is still there. Aubameyang started it on 20, he's up to 22 with 2 goals for Arsenal at Burnley. And Aguero is on 21, having started the day on 20, so I make that a 3-way battle for the Golden Boot, with 3 players all on 22. Aubameyang, and then right in front of us here at Anfield, Salah and Mane, with Aguero just 1 behind in our featured commentary game, Brighton and Manchester City. Nice. By the way, it's now Crystal Palace 5, Bournemouth 3. Crazy game. Mo Salah puts a bit of pressure on the Wolves' defence, and it's behind for another corner. He and Mane interlocking beautifully once more. All of a sudden, after a fairly tepid few minutes, Liverpool have really come back to life. Everton, by the way, had gone 2-1 up at Spurs through Shink Tossen, but Spurs have just equalised again to make that 2-2. West Ham have just scored 2 in quick succession and gone 4-1 up at Watford. Cardiff still 2-0 up at Man United, still 1-1 Southampton. Huddersfield still goalless Leicester, Chelsea. Newcastle still 3 up at Fulham. Arsenal still 2-1 up at Burnley. Critical games. Brighton 1, Man City 4 for the champions-elect. And here, Liverpool 2, Wolves 0. Short corner, lofted in, looking for Van Dijk off the crossbar. Really clever. It was a short corner back to Alexander-Arnold, who lofted it in. Henderson and Alexander-Arnold combining. He was completely unmarked, lofted in a beautiful delivery. Van Dijk's effort rattled the bar, with Patricio beaten, landed on top of the woodwork, and then just went agonisingly from Liverpool's point of view over. Very close to a third. So a goal and a hitting of the woodwork in quick succession. We're going to see a couple more Wolves substitutions to finish off the season. Portuguese defender Ruben Vinagre and young prospect Morgan Gibbs-White, who's been tearing it up at England age group level. They come on the final few minutes of the season. Nice to see both of those get a little bit of game time. Johnny Otto has come off, and so has João Moutinho. And we're going to see a Liverpool substitution as well, with the Champions League final in mind. Don't forget, he was an injury doubt going into this game after some rough treatment from Luis Suarez. Andy Robertson goes off. And on comes a man, of course, with a horrendous broken leg that it's taken him a while to recover from, to put it mildly. Another excellent young defender in the form of Joe Gomez. He's just fought his way back into the first team fold after that broken leg of late. He comes on for the final 6 minutes plus time added on. We've played 84 here on Premier League Live. It's Liverpool 2, Wolves 0. Remember, Man City 4-1 up at Brighton. Golden Boot, the big talking point, I think, now really, in terms of what isn't decided. As we say, 22 goals each for Mane and Salah, who are both still on the field. 21 for Aguero in the City game. 22 for Aubameyang now with a brace in the Arsenal game. It'll run down the far side from the replacement of Vinag, who did alright actually. He and Johnny Otto have had a good battle for that shirt across the FA Cup and Premier League over the season. Cross wasn't the best after some nice interplay. It was too close to Allison, and he made a fairly comfortable interception. Loads of goals happening now, apart from Leicester-Chelsea. Everything else has been quite spicy. Minimum of 2 goals in every other game. 8 in the Palace game, 5 in the Brighton game, 5 in the Watford-West Ham game, 4 in the Spurs game, 3 for Newcastle. Nice final day of the season. Not too many other major stories beyond our title race, but nice to see the Premier League already with well over 1,000 plus goals this season, finishing nicely. Liverpool striking the ball around. Not too much now to play for in this game. They're 2 up. It's been great. 86 played. Liverpool 2, Wolves 0, and on this occasion, Wijnaldum and Mane just get in each other's way. Wolves win it back, looking at their first defeat in 5 matches, won their previous 3. As Dendoncker spreads the ball wide to Adama Traore, the man they bought for big money from Middlesbrough, who's been largely a major disappointment, the 37, wearing 37. And Traore, that shock of blonde hair, gives the ball straight away. Slaps his own thigh in frustration. He's going to try and prove himself and show what he can do in the final few minutes of some limited game time here. It's the next season. He needs to up his game. The man bought from Middlesbrough, great hope and expectation. Who's not the best one in the world, done very well. A lot of his Wolves teammates have over the course of this season. That's why they're 7th and quite possibly Europa League bound, depending on the outcome of the FA Cup final. Wolves on the attack through Jimenez. Good delivery. Tries to find Dendoncker. Excellent interception from Henderson. Henderson and Milner. 1 each. Winning the ball in front of their Wolves counterparts as Liverpool now try to counter-attack themselves and get a third. Mane still going for that golden boot, as is Salah. One feeds the other. Lovely unselfish play as Salah shoots, but just doesn't get hold of that one, the Egyptian. Just slightly scuffs his effort. It was on target, but it was easily saved low to his left by Rui Patricio. MCFC Denver, champions, he says, sending a picture of loads of sad people, saying this is what the Liverpool scenes are like at Anfield. There's sad people with their head bowed in a little gift. So 1 or 2 bits of fun on social media now happening between the 2 title protagonists. Pankin has tweeted in from Port Harcourt, surprised that Salah's not scored in this game as well, and keeping a close eye on Aubameyang's goals. I don't blame you. And Gini Wijnaldum is now being taken off for the final few minutes, again for a similar reason. And Footy Jab's wondering who is going to get that golden boot as well at TalkSport Live. Off goes Wijnaldum, on comes Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Massive roar for the England midfielder. The Ox, as we know, signed from Arsenal and doing so well for Liverpool, but then awful leg break, awful injuries that have kept him out for so long. And it's great to see Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain back the last couple of weeks and a chance in front of the Anfield faithful to play the final few minutes. They like him. I think he's got great potential still. Jurgen Klopp has certainly worked hard with him and brought the best parts of his game out, I think most would say, since he signed from North London. After an injury-ravaged period, we've seen him play a couple of times now. And in the sunshine, final 2 minutes plus time added on, the chance for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain here on this final day of the Premier League season. Liverpool back on the attack through Mane, looking for a hat-trick. Slides it through to Joe Gomez, who's on, of course, for Andy Robertson. Gomez tries to play the ball off Adama Traore, tries to win a corner, doesn't quite get that one right. Last touch is off the former Charlton man, and this time it's behind for a goal kick. A remarkable battle for the golden boot, keeping a close eye on that in these final couple of minutes. Arsenal still haven't scored another, so Aubameyang is still on 22. And City haven't yet scored another. It's still 4-1 to the champions-elect, so Aguero's still stuck on 21. And yet, Mane and Salah both also on 22. Can we get the golden boot winning moment on Premier League Live in the final 30-odd seconds, plus time added on, I wonder. Every other score was as we last brought it to you, as the final day of the Premier League winds to its conclusion. Free kick to Liverpool, midway inside Wolves territory, which Milner takes and slots it down the byline. Plays a little 1-2 with Salah. Milner now onto his favoured right foot, being tracked by Traore. Clever reverse pass to Mane near this left-hand side corner flag. Shaded part of the field at Anfield. Conor Cody fouls Sadio Mane. Bit of frustration brings him down. The former Liverpool trainee, don't forget, telling the referee there was nothing in it, but I think he did make contact with player rather than ball. And so Liverpool have a free kick right by the corner flag, just in front of it and just about a yard in from the dead ball line, which Milner will swing in right-footed. 2 minutes of time to be played, added on at the Amex, where it's still Brighton 1, Man City 4. Liverpool look for their third. We've got about a minute and a bit to play. Milner's delivery headed out for a corner. So Liverpool will have one more corner and one more chance to get a third in this game, and one more chance for one of either Salah or Mane to maybe be the Premier League's Golden Boot winner. Let's see. Newcastle have got a fourth, by the way, at Fulham. Scott Parker getting the job permanently this week, and then probably losing 4-0 at home. Oh dear. Here's Mane. It's just eased off the ball. Some clever defending by Ruben Neves. We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. There's a huge banner to my right. Listen to the Liverpool fans chanting those words. Just take that roar in for a moment here at Anfield, as Liverpool enjoy the final dying embers, the final few seconds of their magnificent league season. They're going to end with 97 points from 38 games, but it's not going to be quite enough. It's going to be 2 straight unbeaten home top flight seasons for Liverpool. First time they've done that in 39 years. 30 wins would be a top flight record for Liverpool as well. Did it in a 42 game season in 1978 to 79. A 9 or 38 game season before. 14 times since they lost their final home game of the season as well. And there is the final whistle. It's all come to an end for Liverpool, and they do narrowly miss out. We tick into the final couple of moments for Manchester City on my monitor. Their final whistle goes as well. City have won 4-1 at Brighton. They are the defending Premier League champions who've won it back-to-back. Congratulations to them. But here we focus on Liverpool. Just listen to this deafening roar at Anfield as Jurgen Klopp hugs all of his players. Sadio Mane with his 2 goals that have got him as joint Golden Boot winner alongside Mo Salah and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And Liverpool, with all of the club legends in the director's box, Kenny Dalglish leading the applause. It's been a brilliant, brilliant season. The 3rd best in Premier League history. 1 defeat in 38 games. That's the least for a team that hasn't won the title as well. It's by far the best ever second place finish in English top flight football history, not just in the Premier League. There is so much that Liverpool can be proud of. So many dramatic wins in games, so many twists and turns, so many incredible ports of call on this journey for Jurgen Klopp and his Reds players. And they've just been
You and me, hanging from the willow tree, quietly drifting in the open breeze. Suddenly, the wind blows you away from me. Now I see we were never meant to be. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa. Right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa. You and me, hanging from the willow tree, quietly drifting in the open breeze. Suddenly, the wind blows you away from me. Now I see we were never meant to be. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. Born from the same branch and leaves, wild and free, living here in harmony. Don't you see? This is where you want to be. But when you leave, the world is never what it seems. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn.
I wanna know your dark side. I wanna know your secrets. I wanna be your lifeline. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Tell me you're more than just a highlight. Pretty pictures on the outside. I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let fade. Oh, but I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but know that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so. When there's no hope loving for you who saw me before I knew who I'd be. What I have around me means nothing to me if I can't share it with you. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let fade. But I don't close the door, waiting the chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you. You make me feel amazing when I'm next to you. You make me feel so crazy, my heart breaks for you. Can't help but know that I'm still in love with you. You make me feel so.
You and me, hanging from the willow tree, quietly drifting in the open breeze. Suddenly, the wind blows you away from me. Now I see we were never meant to be. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa. Right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dancing till the dawn. Born from the same branch and leaves, wild and free, living here in harmony. Don't you see? This is where you want to be. But when you leave, the world is never what it seems. If only we could travel back in time. Whoa, right where we belong. Maybe we'll never need a reason why. Whoa, dance. dark side. I wanna know your secrets. I wanna be your lifeline. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Tell me you're more than just a highlight. Pretty pictures on the outside. I hate to stare at you through these lights. So I wait for you, wait for me. Wait for you, wait for me. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
I wanna know you inside and out. Wanna know what's behind the light. Wanna feel that real love from within. Let me in. I want real love, real hearts. You're just enough to get me through, get me through. 'Cause you're officially perfect for me. So wait for you, wait for you.
Up all night thinking, passing the time, anxiously waiting. You're on my mind, losing and winning. You can't get it right. Hoping you see me for more than just nights. Up all night thinking, am I on your mind? Will you come meet me and change my life? This love could be deeper. Just sinking. Will you love me? Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you.
Addicted to you.
Click and scroll, I can't let you go. They say I'm addicted to you. Oh, oh, this ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial. This ain't love, no, no. This ain't love, no, no. This is artificial.
But when there's no hope hiding, no chance concealing what deep down I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me for who